So in the last video we talked about coronary arteries, and we said that when a coronary artery gets blocked, and we talked about the factors which makes a coronary artery blocked. So anyway, we said that if it is whichever coronary artery gets blocked, so basically, as we said in the last video, there are two main, as you can see, coronary arteries which branch out from one area, and another one over here. This one is the right side, and this one is the left side. Okay, so we said that whichever one is, and they both branch out from here because over here there's a high concentration of oxygen from the aorta. So we said if the cardiac muscle is not supplied with enough oxygenated blood, it therefore runs short of oxygen and runs short of nutrients, and the main nutrient is glucose. Now without glucose and oxygen, or a shortage in glucose and oxygen, I should say, they won't be able to respire. The cells in the cardiac muscle will not be able to respire, won't respire. Now, as we said, one of the products of respiration is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is basically the energy. Now without this energy, this means that the cardiac muscle cannot contract, and this means that let's say the coronary artery was blocked on this side. This means that when the ventricle or left ventricle contracts, we said that it moves the blood all the way through the aorta towards the body, or throughout the body. On the right ventricle, it pushes it to the pulmonary artery, where blood becomes oxygenated in the lungs. So as you can see, it really does need oxygen and glucose in order for it to contract. Without it, it means that the heart stops beating. So heart stops beating. This has two names. When it does stop beating, this is called a heart attack and cardiac arrest. Now coronary heart disease is a serious disease, or not, disease. So therefore we will talk through this during the factors. So we said if someone is a smoker, it means his chances of getting coronary heart disease is high due to nicotine and other components which damages the circulatory system. Second point was diet. We said that a diet high in salt, cholesterol, saturated fats will build up on the coronary arteries, and let's say that plaque started to build up somewhere over here, okay, and when it did, the artery's walls became stiffer, and since the plaque decreased the amount of space blood could move in, it made the blood move at high pressure. Okay, so this can make blood clots form, and when blood clots do form, and if one of them breaks away, that means that there is a chance that this smaller part of an artery, it will be blocked, so there will be no blood. Why? Because the blood clot is preventing blood from getting through. This kind of a blood clot is called a thrombosis, and if it happens in the coronary arteries, it is called a coronary thrombosis. Okay, and we talked about obesity. Obesity increases the chances of CHD. We talked about stress. Unmanageable and long-term stress leads to CHD. Lastly, genes. If many people in your family have CHD, that means you might also get CHD. So therefore, these four factors must be taken care of. Okay. Now we move on to today's topic, which is about how CHD is treated. So how is it treated? Now, if a doctor diagnoses a person with CHD, their first option is to give them drugs. And don't start laughing, this is just like the medical way of saying medicine. Okay, so they would give them prescribed drugs for the patient. Now there are two kinds of drugs, main drugs which are used for coronary or CHD. Number one is called statins, and the other one you guys must have heard of, aspirins. Statins reduces blood pressure. So statins reduces blood pressure. Reduces blood pressure. Aspirins, on the other hand, it reduces the risk of blood clots forming inside blood vessels. So reduces risk of blood clots forming inside vessels. Blood clots forming inside vessels. Forming inside vessels. And a doctor wouldn't prescribe statins inside blood vessels. A doctor wouldn't prescribe statins to a person which can easily change his lifestyle and or improve his health by changing his lifestyle. Let's say he only has one of the factors, like smoking, and it's only because of smoking that he developed CHD. So if he just gets rid of smoking, then that means that he doesn't need to be prescribed with statins. This is only very beneficial if you have a couple of these, like smoking, diet, obesity. So therefore, on the long run, these things are not beneficial. I mean, they are beneficial on the beginning stages, but on the long run, they can cause some unpleasant side effects. Okay, unpleasant side effects. So if this still doesn't work, drugs, statins, and aspirins. Remember, just a recap, because this is like I think these are only prescribed to patients that they have a couple of these factors that they need to change on, and statins really helps for those. If a person only has one of these factors and he can easily change it by changing his lifestyle, they won't prescribe statins, they would usually prescribe aspirin. Okay, now we move on. If this drugs is not an option, then it comes to the surgery time. So second option would be surgery. So there are four types of thing. Number one, it's called coronary bypass. Coronary bypass operation. This is basically, I'll just erase all of this drawing which we did over here. So this is basically, let's say that a blood or this is a blocked over here. It is blocked. This is blocked. Therefore, there is no blood coming in. They will insert another blood vessel from another recipient's body, and they will attach it with the aorta all the way till here. Okay, so that's the coronary bypass operation, and they won't do it here. That would be dumb, because still the blood is being blocked. Okay, now we move on to number two. Number two is using a stent. This is basically, let's say you have an artery, okay, and the artery is built up with plaque on the outer sides due to an unbeneficial diet. They'll insert like a net kind of, a net kind of circular wire. So it's something like this, but they'll insert it here, which keeps the artery open. Okay, so that's the second one. Now we move on to third one is something called angioplasty. What they'll do is they'll insert a balloon into a collapsed artery. Let's say it's over here. They'll insert a really small balloon, then they'll inflate it with water. The artery will open up again, and then they'll take out and then the balloon is removed. So therefore, the balloon pushes the artery open. Lastly, a complete heart transplant. Now there are many problems with this, because one of the main problems is that the recipient's immune system may reject the organ, because I don't know what is the reason, but they may reject the organ, and therefore the patient will have to take drugs for the rest of his life, such as aspirin and all of these. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please enjoy, like, share, subscribe, and comment.